What is up, guys? Welcome to another video, and today we're back talking about Need for Speed 2015's patch updates. This is kind of my wish list series where I go and talk about a few things I want to see in future updates, etc, etc. And today we're going to go ahead and talk about PvP. So for those who aren't aware, there's currently no way of playing PvP in Need for Speed easily. You can invite everyone in your lobby, and that is an option, but let's be honest, a lot of people, they're doing their own things when they go on Need for Speed. They don't want to be hassled by some randomer who wants to race. It's kind of seen as spam, so that doesn't really work. The only real way to play PvP is to get a bunch of friends and play with them, and that can get repetitive because you're playing against the same people over and over again, or maybe you're playing against people who are much better than you or much worse than you, and it's not really a fair competition. There's no real way to play competitively on Need for Speed, and again, I feel like this is something which needs to be added desperately, because, you know, especially for an online only game, it's just kind of the bare minimum you expect. You know, in a game nowadays, you expect a multiplayer mode, and, you know, as well as that, you kind of expect a competitive component, especially with a racing game like Need for Speed, where, you know, you're constantly trying to get your tune as best as you can to then race it in a race and see how well you can do in a race. It's kind of something which I really want to see, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about how I want to see it configured and how I want to see them implement that into the, obviously, Need for Speed 2015 in a future update. So it's pretty easy. Basically, I want to see the option to go into PvP on the main menu, on the start menu. So you can either go into kind of free roam or competitive. Now, if you click competitive, you obviously go into the competitive mode and go into the races, etc, etc, which I will talk about in a minute. However, if you go into free roam mode, you should also be given the option to go into competitive mode at the menu. As well as that, you should also be given the option to invite crew members to private only games. I don't know why that's not a thing. You can't really invite everyone unless you know, go to the main menu and then go to crew and then invite everyone. So I'd like the option to go ahead and make private games both in free roam and in competitive, because that's not currently a thing unless you're playing solo, which, you know, again, it's kind of annoying when you are playing in big groups. But anyway, once you've clicked PvP mode, you would then be addressed with certain types of playlists. So you've got a casual playlist and then you've got a competitive playlist. Now, I feel like the casual playlist is just where you kind of, it's unranked, you know, it's unranked playlist where you just go in and just have a good old time, practice to you know, to obviously get good, and then go into the competitive playlists, and then once you are, you know, you feel up for it, you can go into the competitive playlist and you're given a rank. Now, whether this is a world rank, whether this is just an exclusive rank to competitive, completely up to Need for Speed, but I feel like a competitive rank should be there. So you go in there, you get a competitive rank, and then you can go into multiple games. Now, there's a few ways they can do this. They can either make it so you can vote for certain modes and certain races, or they can make it so it's set playlists which you are forced to play with. Now, personally, I'd like to see the option to go ahead and give that freedom to players, where you can vote for if you want a drift race or if you want a, you know, a certain race. Kind of similar how to COD does it, where you get to vote for the map before the event starts, but instead of just the map, you get to vote for the mode as well. So basically how the crew does it, that would be really cool, and that's basically what I want to see from the competitive mode. So you get actual ranks, and, you know, those ranks are indicative of how good you are in the game. Very similar to how CSGO does it as well. I know CSGO has a really strong competitive league. The crew does it as well, with obviously the medals you get. So something across those lines would be really cool. Now, a nice incentive for players to play competitive is maybe they get an extra XP bonus, which would go towards their overall level. So obviously you do get overall levels in Need for Speed, and with that comes you know, stickers and other redeemable rewards. So having that option would be really cool. It gives people more incentive to play, and maybe if you were to be a certain level, or if you were to get to a certain medal, you get more money, or you get, you know, a free car or something across those lines. You know, there's many ways that Ghost can give incentive to good players in the competitive mode. But with that being said, obviously you should still be given money if you are playing casual. That shouldn't really affect the kind of overall money, but if you do play competitive, you should get a bit of an increase. But this could also open the eyes to some amazing modes in Need for Speed. At the moment, there's really only drift and race, but if there was to be a PvP mode, we could have competitive pink slips. That could work really well in the competitive mode. There could be cops and robbers for the casual mode, as well as king, infected, and that kind of stuff. It really opens the kind of branches to add loads of more modes in. You know, I mean, you can have all the kind of quote-unquote playground games, which Forza do, obviously, like I just said, Infected, King of the Hill, all that kind of stuff. But then, you know, pink slips and more competitive, intensive modes, one-on-ones, you know, like cage battles, I believe they're called. All these types of things, you know, Wangan type battles where, you know, they're highway battles and you've got to get a certain distance in front of your opponent, you know, something like that. It just really opens up so many opportunities to just have loads more modes in the game, and I think it's really something which Ghost are currently missing out on, and something which they can really just do well with if they obviously implement into the game. Now, certain playlists could be tailored to certain types of cars. So if you have a full drift car, there could be a full drift playlist. If you've got a full grip car, you could go into a full grip playlist, or vice versa. You know, there could be certain situations where you're given cars by Ghost to race with, so it's completely fair and there's no, you know, like difference between each other's cars. You're not really testing whose car's better, but you're kind of testing who's got the better skill level, who's better at the game. So there's many ways they can go around it. I feel like this is probably the best way of going around a PvP mode, and honestly, if it was to be in there, it would give me so much more incentive to play Need for Speed. I still enjoy playing the game, don't get me wrong, but is it getting a bit stale? Am I kind of repeating myself? Yeah, to be honest. I feel like after I beat GTA Wise Guy and Maximum Attack, there wasn't much left for me to do. I kind of got the best times for most of the races on my speed wall, and I've kind of raced most of the cars. The cars I haven't raced and haven't customized, I'm doing that in a series for YouTube, and you know, I obviously do the challenges and stuff, but I would like to see a bit more replayability. I'm currently completing the story for a second time on PS4, and I'm slowly going through that and just taking my time as I go. But again, just adding a PvP mode, it adds in so many more possibilities, and you know, it just makes everything a lot easier for Ghost in terms of keeping players engaged and entertained for a long period of time. If there was a PvP mode in the game, I feel like it'd kind of give it unlimited replay value, because there's always a new challenge, there's always new players to go up against, and well, obviously with customized cars and stuff, there's, you know, the opportunity to see cars that you've never seen before, and that in itself is just amazing. So yes, PvP mode, that's what I want to see in the game. Do you guys agree? Do you guys have any better ideas? You know, just let me know down in the comment section down below. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like, subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one. You guys have been awesome. Stay safe and peace.